So sometimes when I make these videos and I go through my own thoughts on these lectures, after I'm done, I'll kind of remember certain parts that I want to talk about that I didn't. And that happened with this one. There's a different part in the lecture that I said in the first video that I realized that it actually inspired me to, this is a few years ago, to imagine the way, I guess I should say, the way I am doing now. So when he found himself in a dream, he said to himself, I'm going to explore it. Regardless of the consequences, I'm going to explore. And I remember that really inspired me to believe in myself, because I realized that I had a big fear of consequences when I would sort of imagine even good for myself, when I would imagine lovely things or find myself imagining things that I otherwise thought were not going to happen in my world. I said, regardless of the consequences, I'm going to believe in this, because some future idea of what could go wrong if I thought something good about me always came up. So just seeing him say that to himself and exploring the dream, that's how I felt about. I applied it sort of on a lower level. He applied that in his fourth-fold vision. So I applied that in the third-fold vision, that regardless of consequences, I will believe in whatever it is I want to believe about myself. I will believe in my own success. I will believe within myself. We all have it within us, but few of us believe in these things. And I was one of those people, and I said to myself, I'm scared. I'm scared to believe. I'm scared to believe beyond what I've always known. And I said, regardless of the consequences, I will believe in this. I will imagine this. I will explore my imagination, and I will, whatever good I find in it, I will believe in it. And that's when things started to change as well in my life. And it all happened naturally and organically. It's not like something overnight happened. It was just sort of conversations started to come about. People started entering in, and then things started happening that were just sort of going down the nature of what I was imagining. But it really started to take upon reality in my world when I said, regardless of consequences, I will imagine. Regardless of my own fear of what could happen, I will yield and let go and believe in this dream. I will do it. And you can see how all of this ties together. Really, you can see how the art of dying ties in with threefold vision, right? Which is really letting go of what you otherwise have thought about yourself and imagine something new. That's threefold vision. You're weaving together certain states that, imply, as I said, something about you, and they interplay with each other. And that was a big blockage within me that I couldn't seem to ever pass it up. It seemed like the only way that I could overcome this fear of consequence was to just do it. It seemed like no matter how much reasoning I did, how I knew as well within me to not be afraid, I still couldn't let it go. And I just had to yield. That was the only thing I could do, was yield into it. Regardless of consequences, I'm going to yield and believe this. It's not about asking myself anymore, well, what if it doesn't work? I don't ask myself that anymore. I just let it go. I let go entirely and believe in it. And then, in the lecture, he also goes on to talk about this person who they did imagine, and it worked for them. But later on in life, things got difficult, and they sort of found themselves again in a spot where it felt like they lost their faith. And he tells them, do you remember when you did this and it worked? Do you remember when you did that and it worked? And they remembered. And he goes, it's the same thing. Don't think it's different. And I get messages like that often too. And it's like, there are people who tell me, I've had it work for this and this and this, but this other area, I can't seem to get it to work. And it might be that there's not this yielding, this letting go of in that area. There's this fear of consequence, this fear of it not working, or this fear of change. But regardless, I will explore it. I will explore this side of me this state in me that I otherwise, once felt that I couldn't have. And so once I let go of the questionings, once I let go of the idea of consequences within me, I was able to actually obtain these things within myself. And so if you Neville gives so many examples. So if you want an item, Just imagine yourself having it. Don't think about the cost. Just imagine yourself having it. Practice imagination. And, Neville said that. You see how it weaves together. He said, I never thought about the cost of things. I sort of just imagine I have it. And so if you want a certain freedom, just imagine you have it. You want a certain skill set, imagine you have it. And you'll start to see it will come about in such a natural way. But it will always kind of lead down the path you're imagining. Don't ever ask yourself how. You're never going to figure that out. Just practice third vision. Practice seeing it and hearing it and eavesdropping and having it. Because the how and the when are for this world, on this level here, on this earthly realm. That's this level. In imagination, it already is that way. You already have it. You just have to believe in that. And really, just notice it. Really, that's what I mean by believe. Be loyal to it. Be committed to a new idea. Regardless of consequences, be committed to it. Explore within yourself. Don't become afraid. I love exploring within my own imagination. You'll find many wonderful things, and you might find scary things, but explore it. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared of anything within you. You don't have to be. Even if at first you feel afraid, know that you'll overcome it. Face it, and you'll overcome it. Solve it. You'll see that it might be a desire that you've been having. It might be something you want to let go of. Learn to let go of it. If you really want to let go of something, let go of it. You'll see yourself as the one that you've been waiting for. And so really what I'm trying to get is that you don't have to be so strict when you read. You don't have to read Neville and think, well, he did this in his fourthfold vision, or, he explored. You can take bits and pieces and see how it applies really to when you imagine. And I realized you could apply that same method of like really not caring about the consequences and just imagine the good anyways. And I applied it to myself in that way. And that's really what changed a lot for me, was that switch of regardless of consequences, I will imagine, I will believe in it, I will accept it, I will no longer question it, I will let go of my questioning. Even though I don't exactly quite know what will come about, I will do it anyways. And that's how you create in your life. It seems to always kind of push you towards this edge, and you have to take the leap and believe in it. It's always going to be that way. You always find yourself in a certain spot and you go, I want to outgrow this area. I want to leave this certain land within me. I want to jump in this pool. It's all metaphors, right? That's second vision. And then you actually believe in it, and you realize that you changed yourself. That's third vision. You believe in something that's unseen. So you take these symbols, as he said, you take these symbols of second vision, the leaping into the testing the waters, exploring without consequence. All of that's just symbols. And then you believe in it, and it changes something about you. That's third vision, believing in the unseen. Now, again, fourth vision, he explains how that's the difference between being blind. Single vision and fourth vision is like the difference between being blind and being able to see. I mean, they're completely different. One just sees the surface level. The other one is like an entirely different plane of existence. But really, all you really need is second and third when you go to apply it. And so I just wanted to make a second part for this because I found that important. I was going for a walk and I just remembered, I was like, I should probably add that in there, because that was the moment when I read this lecture that really opened me up in the practice of this, not necessarily the understanding of it. The practice of it was that regardless of consequences, I will imagine, I will believe in it. Regardless of what I know, regardless of my logic, regardless of my knowledge level, I will believe in this. And so I want to end that one here. And I just want to add that, I do a members channel I do live talking and Q&As as well there. So if that interests you, I'd love to see you there. And again, thank you guys for listening.